Yeah, early 2000 songs that sound like
Daredevil, is he a hero, man? He's a muppet of a man.
I have no idea why. I pretty much wanted to kiss by a rose. For some reason, I had no idea why. I was like, that just seems to be the theme is just, okay, obviously it's all made up on the spot.
I got kissed by a Ben Affleck.
It's gonna be Batman, so it kind of ties together. It was a Batman Forever song.
I swear that was one of the first jokes I made, was that all of these frickin' songs from around the year 2000 sounded alike, particularly in superhero movies.
Yeah, sort of like Creed,
had
Nickelback.
that, yeah.
Even though, because there's a...
I don't miss it. I didn't think they were that interesting
because there's a
back
song,
then.
there's a song, I had to switch it out for copyright reasons, but there's a song when she's hitting the bags, lift me up inside. And it's like, even the women sung like that.
Yeah.
What's up there?
Every song from that time period sounded like that. It's just like they were all of them that sounded like that used in comic book movies.
Yeah, well, no, and I think I said in the longer version of the song, I was like, they all sound like this except for the boy bands, but that was shit, so, and I can't sing that well like that, so I'm just gonna sing like this. Like, that was it. It was like boy bands and that sort of Creed Nickelback sound. But bullshit, you want to hear our real thoughts on Daredevil.
Pretty bad.
It's pretty bad, but it's interesting actually talking about that now, because we just did, I'm not sure which one of these is coming out first, but we just did a review of Cinderella.
My voice is a little sore. There was a lot of screaming.
But I was saying, sort of this film is trying to operate too much on, like the logic of something that's not really supposed to have logic, that much logic to it, a fairy tale, and need more focus on the emotion. And this one had almost the opposite problems in that you could tell it's like, this is a checklist of the superhero stuff that all superhero movies were like at that time, Batman, Blade, Spider-Man, all this stuff, especially the ones trying to be all dark and broody. And it's just interesting seeing this list follow through, but really no reason why. It's not like somebody was like, I really want to tell this story about this guy who dresses up like this Daredevil, this superhero, because it's a really unique story that's never been done. It's so clearly from all these other aspects that were not even that popular at the time. They were trying to come back.
The best way I can describe movies like these are paint by number.
Yeah.
Like, literally just like somebody threw a bunch of numbers in a script and said, okay, hit all of these numbers. And then they just assembled them together and you get this painting that just looks like a paint by number painting. Like, it's good enough, I guess, but it's just bland and there's a picture. Like,
well, that's why I think it's so great. I mean, just the comparison to now with, like, those comic book superhero movies and back then, because, like, Dark Knight was also very brooding and very dark, and Batman Begins and stuff, but it did different stuff with it, and it took it to, like, a new level. It's like, let's see what we can really do with this, where Daredevil, like I said, it looked dark, and honestly, didn't look that bad. I mean, for...
It looked all right.
No, I mean, like, when you hear Ben Affleck is gonna play this guy in a red outfit with little horns and stuff like that, like, I'm surprisingly not laughing at him. I'm actually like, okay, like, he actually looks okay, and the film...
I was laughing a little,
looks okay. Well, no, when he starts...
And I like Daredevil as a character, so, but some things I'm not sure can ever translate that great, and the Daredevil outfit, at least in that incarnation, yeah.
See, I just thought it was okay. I could take it seriously.
It was not god-awful, but it was the kind of thing that I'm just like, it's a little silly.
You can tell he was trying to do the whole... This guy was obviously inspired by Batman. He saw Batman and said, I want to do Batman. Because everything looks like it. It follows, so much, right down to the reporter.
You get electric nachos.
Yes. Which I know is like the comic book character's name, but it still sounds ridiculous. I would have allowed a change for that. Or at least a change in tone, at least, if you're going to actually have a character called that.
Well, and they play up the Batman thing like, Am I one of the bad guys, or am I doing this for justice? But they don't really do anything with it. I love at the end where he's just like, Kingpin, no, you're gonna go to prison, but I'm gonna get out. Yeah, and I'll be waiting. Justice is served.
Yeah, you'll probably kill a ton more people while you're out, and let me catching up and fighting.
No, I'm not gonna kill you, even though I've already killed somebody at the beginning of this movie, which means I've probably done this multiple times. Yeah, he killed Bullseye. I'm like, why?
No,
now, you know what it is? It's the Count of Monte Cristo trick. That was always a one problem with that. It's like, now that I have had my revenge and everything is satisfied and I've left a pile of dead bodies in my wake, I dedicate my life to God.
No more revenge.
I don't know if it works that way. You found an interesting out.
We're talking about the early 2000 movie, which we actually like, but even the director was like, yeah, they made me do this ending and it's bullshit.
Yeah, no, we're talking about the one with
Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce, yeah.
So it's a... And it was funny, because when it came out, I was actually kind of looking forward to it, because, like, there were one or two dark superhero movies at the time, but they weren't, like, necessarily a thing. They were trying to become a thing. And, I don't know, it was just interesting. Like I said, they sort of felt like they were still, like, nobody was taking comic books seriously, so we had to make them darker and grittier. Comic books included. Comic books got, like, insanely dark. Just in the design and the layout of them.
Well, it was that thing where we got dark and grittier because of Tim Burton's Batmans. And then Batman and Robin completely destroyed that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was this, nobody's going to take comic books seriously. Then Blade came along. And then there was this...
X-Men,
there was this period of time where I swear to God, everything either looked like Blade or John Singer's first X-Men movie. And the irony of it is, Blade's style is pretty cool. John Singer's first X-Men movie...
Pretty forgettable.
Yeah, like, I'm not even saying that the movie's bad, but I'm like, when it comes to the set design and the costumes, I mean, even what costumes? There were none in that movie. Like,
I would prefer the yellow spandex.
Yeah, and so everything felt like just watered down versions of Blade or X-Men.
I think you meant Bryan Singer, by the way. I think you said John Singer.
I meant Bryan Singer, sorry. So, yeah, and that's this movie's problem. It just, I feel like I'm watching half Blade, half little touch of X-Men, a little touch of Batman, a little bit of Spider-Man, and like it just feels like, I don't know, it's like the milk left, it's like the soggy cereal left in milk. Like it just, I'm like, this could have been good, but it's no longer good anymore.
Yeah, no, I get if it came out like maybe 3 years before the first Batman came out, like, we probably would have liked it fine. But it's like, we know these tricks. We've seen this before. We know what you're much trying to do.
If it came out before Tim Burton's Batman, I think it would have played pretty good, actually.
Yeah, no, but because we've seen this before and we know, like, we've gone through this experience, why are you trying to give us, one and say, this is totally different, totally new, but when it's clearly not.
See, all I could think of when I was watching, actually, this was the biggest thing. Throughout the entire movie, all I could think of was I would much rather be watching Darkman. Like, because
Darkman is a very unique comic book movie.
Yeah, it was a unique comic book movie and really dark and gritty and kind of goofy and kind of funny. And, like, that's all I was thinking was, like, I just really want to watch Darkman right now, not finish this movie. Like, it just... Other movies have done it better. It's probably its biggest sin, and then just... I don't know if it's a lack of passion, because I've seen the director's cut, which is better, but it still wasn't great. So, but they're just... It just feels almost like a computer put this movie together.
Like this has worked in other comic book movies,
again, it's like the paint-by-number aspect. Like, just hit these notes, and, I mean, we were having fun with that, like, when his father dies, is just like Uncle Ben, and then we were joking that when he doesn't stop that crime, it's Uncle Ben getting shot.
Yeah.
But it just... Yeah, it's just, here's the same set of notes here again and again. It's like a McDonald's hamburger. Like, you're just like, yeah, that's okay, but there are better burgers.
Yeah, I think that was at the point where I was realizing, like, because I love growing up, angsty teenager, in high school and stuff like that. And loved the dark. Yeah,
really? I wouldn't have guessed.
Having a Burton corner and stuff. Yeah, I mean, loved the dark stuff. I would draw everything dark. I'm a tortured artist and stuff. I think around that point... Artiste. And I think around that point, I was realizing, like, the darkness has to have a point. It has to serve the story first. It can't just be dark and that's it. It has to serve the character, it has to serve the story, and it has to be doing something that hasn't been done a million times before. And this was the first time I really started to realize it, because at the time there were very few things that were, like, dark, at least visually dark. Kind of Burton was it, maybe one or two other directors, but not many. Now it's sort of like its own genre.
Well, it doesn't help, too, that there is no chemistry between any of the actors in the film. Not just the romantic leads, just I feel like none of these actors, I feel like they never...
There was great chemistry between Michael Clark Duncan and Colin Farrell, okay? That romance was beautiful.
Okay, I'll give you those two. Great
they
chemistry
are amazing, by the way.
between those two only. But Michael Clark Duncan and Ben Affleck, no. Ben Affleck and Jon Favreau, no.
Yeah.
It just, nobody really felt like they were clicking. It was almost like they were shooting separate movies simultaneously.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were on green screens the whole time and digitally inserted together. That's what it felt like.
So yeah, it's hard for me to say it's like the worst, because like I said, it's at least has some idea of the dark stuff that it just doesn't know how to go. I will say it's light. It's the dark stuff light, ironically.
It's not the worst, but it is one of the most bland and forgettable.
Which is so strange, given how it, given this style and sort of the concept of this blind guy who's a superhero. But even because you read Daredevil, I didn't. I know the initial layout is the same, but in the comic, is there more of a purpose to him being blind? Because it almost seemed like it served no purpose in this film except for that cool blind vision thing.
Well, his other his other senses were heightened because of it.
But were there disadvantages at all to him being blind? Because here it's like he can almost see better than normal people can.
Well, yeah, if you're able to disable any of his other senses, like particularly hearing. I mean, they touched upon that with the bells ringing and stuff like that, but... or you could overcrowd his senses, but I mean...
But even here, like, through a crowd cheering at the boxing match, he's like, come on, Dad, get up. He could tell who fell to the ground over a screaming crowd. It seemed like it just didn't make a difference anymore.
But all superheroes, to some degree, the power mostly just comes down to, and that makes me super awesome in doing something. And a lot of times it's just strength. So it's another way to give him strength via an alternate means. I mean, really, it's just a metaphor for superheroes that can also be, handicapped. Mm-hmm. Like, it's the idea that, even though you're handicapped, you can still do something that basically the powers you have, even when you're handicapped, it gives you a different outlook on life and something that other people don't have. Like, blind people do have a heightened sense of hearing. Some people I found out recently can see more colors than other people, which must be interesting. So it... is there any point? Well, what's the point of any superpower? Most of the time, the point of any superpower is just, and it makes me strong. At least this is kind of a fun metaphor for people who... do have, particular handicaps or something, and, they can be like, hey, well, that's awesome. Somebody that's like me, and, they can do cool stuff too. It's somebody to look up to,
No, but like, okay, for example, like, he could hear certain things about, there's a point where he says, I can hear the police siren all the way from here saying that they're gonna come and get you. Well, okay, even with those superpowers, I doubt that, but whatever. It gives him sort of this advantage that normal people don't have. But then I would have to say something else has to still encompass the blindness outside of just the sound. Like, there was one scene I really like when Bullseye, he throws the cane, he's trying to catch it, but then an explosion happens, and the wave and the sound impales his senses, so now he sees 5 of those canes. Like, okay, that makes sense. But on top of that, it's like he doesn't even need the cane. So I'm thinking, like, there has to sort of be, like, a blessing and a curse with it, and it seemed like there wasn't that much of a curse with it, because it seemed like he could still pretty much see.
Well, that's also too because it didn't focus.
No pun intended.
It didn't focus as much, I think, on his personal life. It was just, here's the superhero aspect, and what little it did, it's like, I'm gonna have a fight out in the open with this girl, and nobody's gonna think this is weird, I guess. Like,
my walking cane is also my weapon. Hello! Nobody puts that together. And that's like a Batman did carry around his wallet. Check his wallet. Hey, it's Bruce Wayne. Just, why would you carry that?
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. But I don't know. I guess I don't get the point. It's like, well, what's the point of any superpower? Like,
well, no, because like, Superman, he's got incredible strength to do all this cool stuff, but then he also has this weakness, to kryptonite that to us is like nothing. But
well, the ability, the ability to super hear. I mean, he could hear criminals having conversations. Think of it like Superman in that movie, maybe it was Returns, one of them where he's up high listening to all the cell phone conversations, and he zeroes in on a police CB radio reporting a crime and decides to go down there. And, think of it like that. There are many advantages. Now, did the movie play all those up? No, but I think the comic does.
No, that's what I'm asking, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a problem in the movie's interpretation. They take his powers and they kind of just package it into one little... thing.
Time limit, fair enough.
Yeah, had it been a better movie, maybe it would have focused on more aspects and come up with more creative ways and, but I honestly, that didn't bother me that much. I thought I got an idea of how it would help him out.
I guess I was just trying to get, like I said, I was trying to get an idea of, how the powers kind of worked. It just got to a point where I was kind of saying to myself, why is he even blind? But in the comics, it sounds like they play up a little bit more both the advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah, he does have kryptonite. Like, if you play noises too loud, you could... trying to remember which...
They tapped out a little
There were a couple
bit.
comics where they found ways to kind of scramble his hearing. There are ways to do it. So, yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think of much else. I mean, we just did the review, so... And they're big. I still miss Michael Clark Duncan every time I see him on screen. There's some actors I still can't believe are gone, and that is one where I'm just like, damn it. That guy was so great.
He was perfectly... I know Kingpin's supposed to be white.
Oh, but he was perfect.
But it's one of those cases where it's like... The color of the skin doesn't matter when you find somebody that so embodies a character.
Yeah.
When I heard he was Kingpin, I didn't even
genius.
blink. Yeah, I was like, this is one of the greatest ideas anybody's ever had. And then, of course, the movie sucks, but... I thought that was just brilliant casting.
Well, am I right? Somebody told me that, because the character looks fat in the comic, but it's actually not. It's some sort of weird morphed muscle or something like muscle. That. So and he's perfect for that, because it's
he has that look about him.
Yeah, is this guy, is this guy just really tall and kind of chunky, or is this guy really tall and fucking muscular as hell? And in the suit, it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, he's a fucking brick.
Yeah, no. He's obviously, he's got the muscle. But it's proportioned perfectly for that.
Colin Farrell.
Yeah, I'm not a Colin Farrell fan either.
Even when we saw him,
because
because we had seen this movie back when it came out, and even back when it came out, I couldn't stop laughing at him. I'm like, this guy is amazing with that dumb, cross-eyed, blank stare. He's like the poor man's Brad Pitt in that movie, but it's great. He's so nuts.
My favorite is that, he's...
Made me miss.
Yeah, I love that. I love that some aspects where I really like that aspect of he wants to go after Daredevil for free just because he made him miss. That's comic books. That's great. And that's a great addition to the character. And I will say, surprisingly, this movie, the action scene, particularly the first one in the bar, is shot with a lot of flashing lights and a lot of kind of shaky camera. I was shocked. I could follow it okay. It was actually decent action for all the effects and everything.
Let's remember, between Michael Bay and the Bourne movies, really action directing has gone straight downhill. There's no concept of how to properly shoot an action scene. It's just, and we're gonna insert some digital explosions here and shake the camera. That's it. So I think some of it maybe we probably at the time wouldn't have thought this is the greatest action scene ever.
Avengers was decent. That was pretty.
No. I'm saying there are. Yeah, okay. There's some out there. There's good action scenes out there. We've seen them. I thought the action scenes in Godzilla were really fun. But I'm saying those are the exception now. They're certainly not the norm.
Yeah.
Everything is just shake the camera like crazy and just there's an explosion. Maybe you can make out a flying wheel. So maybe because of that, we're just looking back on this hey, this is pretty good. Because I remember when I saw the film originally, I was like, yeah, this isn't that good.
Yeah, but
and I'm maybe we're so used to the crap now.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I was shocked I could actually make it out as well as I could. Affleck's not awful.
He just isn't much of anything.
Yeah, there's not much to him.
I don't hate Ben. I didn't hop on the hate Ben Affleck train. Because a lot of what happens in Daredevil is not Affleck's fault. It was a perfect storm of just things not going right on any level.
I think the reason
Elektra's the worst thing in the movie. I mean, let's be honest.
I think the reason...
Liar! She's terrible.
The reason so many people, I think, hate Affleck is because they had just an exact opposite next to the whole time with Matt Damon, who was just, like, unbelievably charming and picked good movies and stuff, and Affleck could, you know, at the time be very full of himself, and he picked bad movies and stuff, so it's one of those things where it's like, but I think he can act, you just gotta find the right movie, and, you know, we'll see if Batman works. I don't think, I'm not judging this as, like, will he be a good or bad Batman? Because honestly, he doesn't leave much of an impression, but it's like, I still
he didn't
think,
ruin it either. I think he was just kind of miscast, and I don't know if there clearly wasn't a clear direction on this film from anybody. There was studio interference. The director had his vision. Affleck, I think, was just hung out to dry, like with so many competing people telling him what to do from different, like. The whole thing just felt like one of those studio created messes where like they over tinkered with it. And...
So I think it's more a matter of
Will you turn your cell phone off? This is the second video.
Yes. So well, we're wrapping up though anyway. So yeah, after seeing Gone Girl, I think he can actually be an interesting Batman. It'd be different, but like watching that one and just seeing kind of the obvious secret he has, but he's kind of very charismatic and stuff. I was like, yeah, okay, I can actually see this work okay. So I don't know if they're going to do that.
After seeing Daredevil, I think Colin Farrell can be a very good Joker.
Joker! Ha 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 ha! Smiley! Ha ha ha!
Why so serious?
So, that's about it. I like I said, I think we sort of got
not
the basics here.
This is not that much to talk about. This is a very bland movie.
Yeah, so we'll definitely have a more interesting one for the next one. So, yeah, that's a bit. We'll see you later. Take care.